Good morning. I think after the hippies, engineers, I think engineers are my favourite people to come to the hostel. Because when engineers come to the hostel, I can have really good conversations and they, they understand me better. Because basically, they tend to be a little bit more intelligent and they actually, what they don't understand, they try to understand, and at least we can talk about. Like, there's one there at the moment, and we're talking like for the last 2 days about different things. But one of the things we're talking about is binary opposites, and paradoxes and ambiguities and hierarchical systems and basically what nature's composed of and how to understand it and then bring it all together to see life and experience new and higher concepts, but a completely different way of perceiving life. And then when you see life completely different and perceive life completely different, you can start to make different. This impacts on how you make different choices, and this is basically how you play a better game. You play a different game. As I keep saying, life is chess. Life is chess. Play or don't play. Be an observer or a player, or be an NPC, a non-player character. There's lots of them as well. But what I'm trying to explain is different philosophies and different religions to bring out these universals. But the thing is, maybe we only think they're universals. Maybe it's just our interpretation, our understanding of them that makes them universals, that we think they're universals. But maybe they're not universals at all. But maybe it's also the people that are teaching these things don't fully understand them and are making them universals. Because they don't understand themselves, they don't understand nature, they don't understand the philosophy. Maybe they're making them universals. Like, I used to be greatly opposed to Kant's moral philosophy. But as I start to understand life at a completely different level, then Kant's philosophy is my understanding and perception of Kant's philosophy completely changes. And I can actually say, yeah, you're right, you know what I mean? But there's so much has to change before you can actually even begin to see Kant's moral philosophy in this life. But anyway, so I was talking to the engineer about binary opposite. I was sort of saying, he was saying, everything is binary, so it's either a wave is when you're transmitting, say, signals from one point to another, it's either on or off. It's binary, on or off. 0 1 0 1 0 1. And we're talking about binary, like 0 1, like your computer programming, your waves. It's on or off, on or off. And I say, but it's never a fully on or off, because if you take yin or yang, you have the white and the black and the black and the white. So it's never. It's this way I say, when you come to all binaries, it's never 100% black or white. It's never 100% black or white. It's never fully on or off. And he said, well, I'll think of an example then. And he comes back to me and said, you're either alive or dead. And I said, you're alive or dead simultaneously. And this is when we get into the paradoxes, and when you start to understand the paradoxes, which is the most difficult thing of all to understand, how you could be get into the paradoxes, how you could be two things simultaneously. As I said to him, like Necker's cube. In Necker's cube, the front of the cube and the back of the cube can be the front of the cube simultaneously. It's an illusion, if you like. But I'm not sure I want to call all paradoxes an illusion, because they're not. But well, it depends on your definition of illusion. But this is a paradox. The front of the cube can be the back of the cube, and the back of the cube can be the front of the cube simultaneously in Necker's cube. You can look it up if you like. Or, for example, I could say to him, my soul is dead, but I am my soul, and my soul is me. So basically, we're alive and dead simultaneously. Now, if you wanted to put a maths equation on this, and this is what I was trying to explain to him is the problem with physics. physics come along with these universals and try to define things is it is as, it is this, it is that, and this will act in a certain way according to past behaviours, according to our association with it, according to, it will behave. But I said, yeah, but there's so many variables that will determine whether it acts in this way or doesn't act in this way. And if any of those variables change, how it acts will also change. We're talking about the atom, but as I said to him on MasterChef, there was this one boiling an egg. She was boiling an egg, and she said, "Oh, I'm not sure my egg is cooked." And he said, "Well, it might be cooked," he says, "because there's so many variables. Like, okay, you can leave the egg in the boiling water for 3 minutes. But then was the egg kept in the fridge? Was the egg kept in room temperature? What was the temperature of the egg before you put it in the boiling water? And then are you a few seconds over the 3 minutes, a few seconds under the 3 minutes? What size is the egg?" So there's so many variables that will impact on the change that occurs in this egg. Even though that the universal is just put it in the water for 3 minutes and you get this result. But the truth is you don't get this result because there's so many variables that impact on this result. Can you begin to understand what I'm saying? So if you want to put a physics model on it and you go to Schrodinger's cat, which is a maths equation, is it a wave, is it a particle? But the truth is it's a wave and a particle simultaneously. It can be either a wave or a particle depending on a number of variables including your perception. But it can be a wave or a particle. So a wave and a particle simultaneously. The cat is alive and dead simultaneously. The cat is alive and dead simultaneously. And this is very difficult to understand, but there is a physics equation for it, Schrodinger's cat. But it's very hard for people to grasp. But once you actually start to understand paradoxes, then you can have a deeper and better understanding of life. So how this comes up is I was looking at another fella that's staying there, and as I said, he's into the Eastern philosophy, and he was there saying to me, like, again, like, I don't know if you remember Mr. Nature back in Prophet, but he was sort of saying to me, like, that God has a plan, there's a plan, and everything will go as it must, things will go as it must. Now, I often say things will go as they must, and I agree with this, things will go as they must. It's something I say myself. Whenever anything happens, I say, well, things will go as they must. I'll just have to deal with it. And this is like sort of saying that life is determined. And yes, I can accept this. But in Eastern philosophy, I call it passive fatalism. Now, in Stoicism, we say life is determined. Well, Marcus Aurelius says life is determined. And I agree with Marcus Aurelius, life is determined. I agree, life is determined, because this is a subject that I've spent so much time on, about whether life is determined as opposed to free will. And have I got free will? And the amount of time I sat asking myself what's a conditioned response and what's a conscious choice. And I put a lot of time into this. And eventually I came to the conclusion that it's a paradox. And that free will and determinism coexist in the universe. And it's a paradox. But you have to be able to see both perspectives simultaneously. So I sit there, I'm watching him, and and I said, yes, I fully accept what the man is saying, that God has a plan and things will go as they must and all, and I just have to shoot the breeze, you know what I mean? I just have to shoot the breeze and things will be as they are. If I'm sitting exactly where I'm supposed to be. If I'm supposed to be a Reiki master, I'm supposed to be I have the competence that I currently have. Like, everything is exactly as it should be. So, and I says, yes. And I can appreciate this. And I can appreciate this same place to me. But at the same time, I can see this perspective, because as it came up then, as my soul said to me then, as Marcus Aurelius said, everything that happens to you has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time. Now this is sort of like the same thing. Now I can accept this, but and then it came back to, this is how we had to come back to, I have to be able to see both perspectives simultaneously. So, okay, I agree with him. I agree with him. I agree with the everything that happens has been waiting to happen since the beginning of time. But maybe then he could also be able to see my perspective. That if you don't take responsibility for your life, you're never going to learn. Because if you don't take any responsibility for your actions, you can't learn from your actions. You cannot determine the nature of change. Basically, this is back again to what I was saying to Mr. Nature, that if you think you've no free will, you have no free will. You have no free will. And I'm sitting there looking at him and looking at him and looking at him, and I'm sort of saying to myself, is there a disturbance? Is there a disturbance? And I was sort of saying to myself, as he goes into the third and fourth day, like a broken record, you know, like a broken record, criticising the state and all the external things and everybody else and all external things that's impacting on his life, like a broken record. I just said to myself, what sort of existence is this? To go into this ingrained loop, the default mode network, where you're just playing like a broken record. I said, can you not? And I know that, for example, I know that I could break out of this default mode network, and I know that people have the capacity to break out of this default mode network, but I also know that you have to fucking try. You just have to fucking try. And it doesn't matter how stupid you are, you have to try. Just have to try. Because you can't get any smarter unless you fucking try. But this, and I sit then and I said to myself, I said, okay, I can't understand, now there is a disturbance, and I can't understand that if there's insecurities in relation to the competence, how you cannot address this insecurity. But can this not be a conscious choice? Because it's okay for me, I could say I want nothing. I could say that I could make more effort in certain regards and everything else, but I want nothing. I could say I want nothing. But this is it's a very, very different way of thinking. Because if I want something, I'm going to get in his way, and if I have desires and aversions, then he's not free, and if he's free, I'm free. But this man does not have this understanding. He's only adhering to the doctrine that accommodates him, which is the passive fatalism. But believe me, before when I did have desires, if I wanted something, I used to say it would be as I see it, and I was relentless in this. I stayed going. I wanted to be the fucking best. I still want to be the fucking best, because believe me, everything for me is a conscious choice. Everything is me is a conscious choice. And I think if something is impeding me, I will overcome. Actually, with me, everything, the obstacle is the way. But and I just said to myself, so this has to be a conscious choice. You just have to make the choice conscious. But even if you didn't want to bother your arse, if you're too lazy, or if the universe, if you're not supposed to be any better than you actually are, one thing you do have a choice in is it's not in your power to have everything you want, but it is within your power to not want anything. I will repeat this. It is not within your power to have everything you want, but it is within your power to want nothing. And this will cure your disturbance. But this aligns with Eastern philosophy, and this will affect your energy, this will affect your chi, that when you actually want nothing. But then this ties in, you can't just take that out of context. This ties into so many, into a way we would call it in Eastern philosophy, but this would be where I am. This is, he's free, and we work together. This is in alignment with the universe. But let me tell you, this takes a lot of understanding and a lot of philosophy. And that's why I say these Eastern philosophies, this energy and this chi and this calm chi, believe me, is tied into a philosophy. They do so much fucking philosophy. All they do is educate themselves all day, meditate, but that's not all they do. They work on the body as well. They constantly work on the body. They do the martial arts, they do all the different training, but they do body and soul, and that's all they focus on. But they can't just, this is the whole thing, you can't just monetize the philosophy, take some aspects out of it and monetize them. meditation courses, because I'm trying to explain, and this is what I tried to explain to a girl before, that it has to be tied into a complete understanding of life for the energy to be what you want it to be. Everything starts with the thinking. I make it off this.